Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Magdalena. I hope you are all doing well. If you are new here, I am a house call dog groomer. I have a small business and I go from home to home dog grooming. I've been a dog groomer of 9 years and I am just sharing some knowledge with you guys here on this channel. And if that is something you're interested, please hit the subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions or concerns, you are more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. Today's video is all thanks to a subscriber that commented on one of my house call dog grooming videos. And this commenter, Karen, said, "Hello, this is super cool. Could you go more in depth about how you started this, such as insurance, what type of business you are, which booking system you use, how you promote your business, etc. Would love to learn more from you. Also make sure to add links to your business in your description," which I did. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, and that was an awesome comment. I love that. I love getting feedback from you guys just because sometimes, like, I have like a whole list of ideas, but it's all kind of jumbled, so I'm not sure which direction to go in sometimes. But so it's really nice to hear from you guys and loved that comment. And that is what has brought me here today. Let's just jump right in. Let's get right into it because I think this video is going to be a little long, but I'm going to try to keep it, short and sweet. Okay, how did I start this thing? Where did I start? Where did I begin? Basically, I knew absolutely nothing about starting a dog grooming business. But basically, I did a lot of research about what type of dog grooming businesses there are. There are brick and mortar businesses. My nail is broken. I broke it today, of course. There are brick and mortar businesses. There are mobile grooming vans, and there are house call dog groomers, such as I. So once you're past what kind of business you want to be, whether it's brick and mortar, house call, or mobile, I picked house call. What is the first step to getting that, to opening or starting the business, getting people on the books? Where do you start with that? Basically what I did was pick the easiest thing out of all the things that we are going to talk about today, and that is choosing a name. The first thing I did when starting this business was choosing a name. It was the easiest thing for me to cross off the list. It is clear, simple, and makes perfect sense. My business name is Safe Haven House Calls. House call dog grooming, you're going into dogs' safe space, and the way I look at dog grooming is making sure that they're comfortable for most of the grooming. It is a very invasive thing, so being mindful about dog grooming is something that I like to practice. That's how Safe Haven became. After choosing a name, the biggest thing with starting a business is finding out if you need any licensing, permits, and if there are any regulations. About 90% of the US does not require you to have a dog grooming license, such as a hairstylist, a barber, a nail technician. All of those need licenses, but dog grooming does not. Dog grooming daycares don't need licensing. They do need zoning, but since I am a house call dog groomer, I don't have an area or a zone in which I don't have a designated zone in which I dog groom, and I am mobile and I go house to house, and I don't necessarily groom in a van, so there aren't really any permits that I need for that. I believe you need a permit for a van, but that's a different story. I don't know anything about brick and mortar or mobile vans, so I'm not going to get into it. We are going to just be solely talking about house call dog grooming in this video. A dog grooming certification, while it looks nice on your resume or on your website or wherever you display your expertise, it is not required, but it looks great and it does cost money. I learned how to dog groom through PetSmart, but that is a different story. And if that is also something you guys are interested, I think I will be doing a video about how I became a dog groomer in the near future. Permits do vary from state to state. I do live in the state of Massachusetts, and licensing is not required or a permit for house call dog grooming. But what I did get was a DBA. And since I am practicing under a different name other than my own, Safe Haven House Call Dog Grooming, I am required to get a DBA, and a DBA pretty much allows you to work under that name. It's what's on my website, it's what's on my business cards, it's what's on my Square, so you'll see it when you are charged via my Square or my MoeGo app. So basically a DBA allows you to work under a different name, and it also offers a level of credibility. if you do need a permit in the state that you live in, a DBA is required to get said permits. Okay, we have our name, DBA, any type of permits that we need, and licensing and zoning, what have you. Now, what kind of entity did I choose to be? I am a sole proprietor. I am not an LLC or an S Corp. I don't know too much about LLCs and S Corps, so I'm gonna leave a link. Excuse me. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description below about, all that jazz. And there's so many videos you can find on YouTube and on the internet about LLCs and S Corps and all that jazz other than sole proprietor. I chose to go with the sole proprietor because, one, I don't plan on hiring anybody. I don't plan on having someone else be responsible for my schedule, or I don't plan on hiring a receptionist or someone to do my emails. Like, I'm not that busy. My business is small enough that I can do everything by myself. I could do all of my reception work in less than 2 hours on my day off or what have you. I can easily text back a client about booking. I'm not taking new clients right now, so anyone who inquires, anytime from now on. And it's so easy with the booking system that I use to, talk to all my clients, not at once, but in a very short span of time. So that's one. Two, I didn't go with an LLC because of the money. I think it's like $500 to register as an LLC. Also, for tax purposes, for a sole proprietor, you can use your personal social security, but I chose to get an EIN, and an EIN is required if you are planning on being an LLC or an S Corp. Again, I'm gonna leave links in the description below, but sole proprietor was just the easiest thing for me to go with. And if I want to change my mind and move up to an LLC because of taxes, then I can. But I will never move up to an LLC because I need to hire people. Before I go more into the EIN, I want to talk about pet insurance. If you do not have pet insurance, I highly, highly, highly recommend you get pet insurance. I use PCI. I know a lot of other dog groomers use PCI, which is pet care insurance. And then I know there's PetBiz Insurance. There are a ton of pet insurances that you can use. It just depends on what you want your insurance to cover and how much you are willing to pay for insurance. Either way, you need insurance because if something happens, vet bills add up and it is no joke. Okay, back to the EIN that I mentioned earlier when we were talking about what kind of entity we are. We have our name, we have the DBA, licensing, permits, yada, yada, yada. We have what kind of entity we are, pet insurance, and now I want to talk about EIN and taxes and all that good stuff. My first word of advice is find a CPA. A CPA is basically an accountant, someone to help you with your taxes at the end of the year, someone to help you do your estimate quarterly, your quarterly estimate taxes, your quarterly taxes, and those are just estimates for the end of the year taxes. It is going to help you out if you pay your taxes every quarter throughout the year, and once you have a CPA, they can better explain that to you, because if you don't pay taxes during the year on the money that you are making and you wait till the end of the year, the IRS is going to be like, oh, you waited to pay us? You're going to get penalized for that. So do your quarterly taxes, find a CPA, and have them help you with expenses, QuickBooks, and whatever else you need as far as taxes and money goes. A side note too, my CPA actually told me to track the mileage that I use on my vehicle so that I can use it as a write-off at the end of the year. Okay, we are making our way down the list. Next on the list is a website. So I am gonna link my website in the description below as well. The snail that is not here is really bothering me, and I'm so mad I broke it before this video. So a website, your Instagram and Facebook pages for your business are not a website. It is not a website. It's not a website. I don't know how many times I have to repeat it, but personally, when I'm trying to look at something or like a service, like my nail lady went out of town, so I've been looking for, a nail person, and most of the nail salons that I clicked on didn't have like a website or something to showcase their work or something to let me know like what their prices are, or you know, hours, like nothing. Like it was so hard for me to find something. And then I just asked a client, I was like, you know, your nails look really good, where'd you get them done? So build a website, do it, it's cheap, get a domain, it'll be worth it. A domain payment is, I think a domain is like 20 bucks a year. To keep the website up and running is another, I don't know, $20 a month. So make that investment. It's cheap. It's kind of easy to build. If you have computer skills, it's definitely helpful, but if not, Wix.com has made it so easy for me to build a website. They have like templates you can use. You fill in all the blanks and what have you, and you can preview and change your website whenever you want to. A website makes it easy for the client to find literally everything in one space. If I have to keep jumping from Facebook to Instagram, I'm going to become uninterested very quickly. So put everything, you know, on one website: services, about you, your experience, your certificates, your location, area of services, your hours of operation, when is your phone off or on, how can they contact you, etc., etc. Put pictures of your work on there. You can add an Instagram grid on Wix.com, and you can even add YouTube links and put videos on your website too. Okay, booking system. It's so funny because the booking system that I use, I follow them on Instagram, but they just followed me back on Instagram. So hey, if you guys are watching this, love you guys. You guys have made my life so easy and I love it. This is not sponsored, by the way, not spons. The booking app that I use is MoeGo, and MoeGo has literally been hands down the easiest booking system ever. I've used maybe like 5 booking systems in the 9 years that I've been grooming. MoeGo is just, it's brilliant. It makes sense and I love it. MoeGo allows me to add links to my website for clients to fill out intake forms, to sign my waivers. I can send them appointment reminders the day before if they still haven't confirmed, 48 hours ahead. I can send them booking notifications when I cancel, when they cancel. I can text them back and forth. There's literally endless, MoeGo even handles payments for you. It's so easy, and I love how their calendar looks, and I highly recommend checking them out if you are struggling to find a booking system that works for you. But other booking systems you can use are, you can use Google Calendar. Square has a booking system. There's one called DaySmart. I think they used to be called 123 Pet. You can check them out. There's also Groomsoft and SavvyPet, so you can check all of those out as well, and I will not leave links, but I'll kind of like reiterate the ones that I said in the description below. I'll leave like a table of contents. Now, what is next? We've got like all the basics laid down. We don't have any equipment. What kind of equipment do we need? I highly recommend doing your research on this, and you can follow a bunch of house called dog groomers on Instagram, and there's even a house called dog grooming Facebook page with thousands of groomers, with thousands of house called dog groomers, and you can follow it, ask any questions, search up any questions you may have. They've probably already answered it, and they always give you good recommendations and honest feedback. So I highly recommend following them as well. Again, links in the description. Once I did a substantial amount of research and I understood what kind of equipment I'm going to be needing and things that I might need for certain types of situations in different homes, it was a lot of trial and error. Once things got up and running, I was like, okay, this works, but this could be better. And so a lot of trial and error. You'll get frustrated. It's all part of the process. Pricing. This is kind of tough, and this is where you really need to start doing some math and looking at your local grooming salons, your local brick and mortar and local mobile van units. I recommend calling around your area, whatever city you live in, call the local salons. Do not, by any means, do not call corporate salons. And this is not pooping on corporate salons. I'm just saying that corporate salons always tend to price lower than local boutique salons or just local small businesses, because since it's a small business, they need to charge more because they don't have millions of dollars coming out their booty, okay? Call up your local salon, see what they're charging. You don't have to be like, I'm starting a house call business, what do you guys charge? You can just call and be like, Hi, I'm looking to see how much you charge for a mini poodle or a 45-pound doodle. Write it down, call the mobile units, take those notes, and then after that, you kind of want to price yourself either above mobile units or right in between brick and mortar and mobile. It really is going to depend on this next thing. Mind you, being a house call dog groomer, you're going to be grooming way less dogs. I know some people in salons do anywhere from 6 to 8 or 9 dogs. With house call dog grooming, you have to bring everything into the house, bring it out of the house, set up, and then take everything down. That's gonna add a lot of time to your day. Then you have to travel from house to house. You have to take your lunch at some point, and that's gonna kind of, it's gonna add time and time and time and make less time for grooming more dogs. I typically do anywhere from 3 to 4 dogs, depending on the size and location. And that's a huge difference from my 6 to 7 dogs in the salon. So you're definitely gonna be charging more than salon prices and maybe even mobile prices. I know some groomers say, oh, charge anywhere from $40 to $50 more than mobile units. But again, it's gonna depend also on your overhead. It's gonna depend on your overhead, how much money you need to make a good living, a decent living at that. I just recommend going to the house call dog grooming group and seeing what other people have said and get their feedback as well. Okay, we're getting to the end, home stretch, and the second to last thing we're talking about is advertising and how do you gain clientele. I am super fortunate, and about 60% of my clientele from my salon days have followed me into the house called dog grooming salon. They can afford it and they have the space for it, which I am so thankful for. And if any of you are watching this, I love you, seriously. I did, however, still have to do some advertising because my books were not full, and that was the goal. The goal with the house called dog grooming business was to have my books, or is to have my books moderately full, but still have a little bit of wiggle room. So I had plenty of wiggle room with most of my clients following me into the house called dog grooming business. So how did I advertise after that? There are a few ways you can advertise for this. You can follow your local Facebook groups or the cities that you plan on servicing. Like, for example, I followed the Cambridge Facebook group, Boston Facebook groups, and Belmont and Arlington, Lexington. Literally all of the cities that I plan on servicing, I followed those local Facebook groups, and they have designated days on those groups where you can post advertisements for your business. Another local advertising website you can use is called Nextdoor, and basically Nextdoor is just like Facebook for your neighbors. People who move into the area will join Nextdoor and be like, hey, I just moved here. Anyone have any recommendations for a vet or any recommendations for a repair guy? And people will answer the questions, and you can also just post as yourself, or you can create a business profile and post as the business, or you can pay to advertise on there as well. It's super cheap to advertise on Nextdoor. I did get a couple of clients from that website, but there are also people that will just, be like, hey, I use this woman, check her out, this is her website. Okay, the second to last method that I used was I created flyers. I put them in those sleeves that people use for like packaging, or they're just like sleeves that you put paper in, you close it up, and then you post it. And I basically took those flyers and I posted them all around the city and at dog parks in places that I planned on servicing. So I went to my local dog park down the street. I didn't know what kind of bulletin board they would have. Sometimes they have like those metal ones that you can't put a thumbtack in. So I brought tape, electrical tape, thumbtacks, double-sided tape. I brought literally everything I could use to stick a piece of paper onto a bulletin board because they're not so traditional anymore. So created flyers, stuck them in a sleeve, and then posted them at dog parks. Another thing too I recommend is adding a QR code to your flyers. Oh, something else that you can do as well if you live in the city is go to your local, go to the new fancy buildings that have the dog grooming pet spas in them, and you could probably leave your business cards with the concierge, or you can maybe hand out business cards around that area, because usually they have dog parks or they have dog runs in those buildings. Lastly, well, second to last, I don't know, I have 2 more things. But one of the ones that worked great for me was taking a bunch of my business cards, going to Trader Joe's and getting like 5 or 6 boxes of like cookies, like individual boxes, and going to the vets in the cities that I planned on servicing. They loved getting the cookies that I brought them, and I literally was just like, I just started this business, and if you run into someone looking for a house call dog groomer, you are more than welcome to refer me, and I would be grateful. And they loved it, and it's worked out for me. I have had some people contact me from local vets in the area that I service. Okay, last for advertising, promise, is it's just word of mouth. And this is where your etiquette and your karma really comes into place. Yes, I believe in karma, I believe in karma 100%. I try to be the nicest person I can be because people talk, it's just what they do. It's natural. People like to talk about other people and other things happening in their life. And people will just go up to a dog and be like, oh my God, where'd you get the dog groomed? And people will just talk. And that's what they do, word of mouth. So that's how I also found a lot of my clients is I will service someone and they will know someone else with the dog because dogs like to talk to each other, and people, you know, notice when a dog has a haircut and they're like, oh, my dog needs to be groomed because there's a high demand for groomers and groomers aren't taking new people. So they'll probably give you their number or what have you, you know? But yeah, that's it for advertising. Okay, last word of advice, or like the last thing that I have kept in mind since I started this business, is to stay positive, make connections, be honest, and stay consistent. These 4 things have really helped me, and there have been a lot of moments where I've been like, man, this isn't gonna work, like I don't know, but then I'm like, you know what, I have all these clients and people love the service that I provide. It's not for everybody, so don't be surprised if people are like, wow, that's a lot. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm coming to your house, so you have to really sell it. And just be honest about it, because if you really believe in what you are doing, you will be able to sell it, and you will be able to not convince, but just help people see that the service you're providing is helpful for them and for their dog. A lot of house call dog groomers say it takes them months to build a solid clientele where they don't take any more clients. I've seen some people say 6 months, and I've seen some people say about a year. And this is really going to depend on if there is a demand for the service you are providing in your area. With that being said, I will link everything that I mentioned in the description below, and I will also link my website if you guys need some inspiration for what to put on your website. It is very helpful. It definitely helped me looking at some other house call dog groomers websites, so I will link that in the description below. If this video was helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or if I missed anything, leave a comment in the comment section down below. I reply to all of my comments. And I'm so thankful for you all who watch and continue to do so, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.